Hello, and welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Professor Noki, and you're here once again for the News with Noki on Noki Talks. Today, we only have a few things to discuss by way of Pokemon. However, we have a lot of things to go over regarding the D23 convention and all the amazing things that have been unveiled thus far. The first thing we have to discuss, though, is regarding Pokemon Go, where it has been officially announced that on September 16th, Generation 5 will be making its way into the game. This is going to happen as part of Pokemon Go's Ultra series that they're rolling out, and not all of Generation 5's Pokemon will be released at one time. Much like in other generations, the Pokemon will be released in batches along the way. And this information being officially announced brings a lot of validity to a recent Datamine leak that may have uncovered months worth of updates. If you don't like spoilers, I'd probably skip ahead a little bit in this video to where I talk about the D23 convention. However, this leak includes things like Pokestop routes, where you'll actually have to visit various Pokestops in a certain and specific order in order to complete a route. And of course, there'll be various rewards and bonuses for doing so. There was also source code hinting to the fact that they're going to be bringing trade evolutions to Pokemon Go, which is a feature that's been around since Generation 1 in the mainline RPGs. But since Pokemon Go has acquired the PvP mechanic, they can now incorporate this type of evolution into the game. The leak goes on to discuss things like buddy Pokemon that actually seems a little similar to Pokemon Refresh, where you have the ability to take care of your Pokemon and feed them and groom them even. So it will be interesting to see how they implement this into the game, if at all. It's also evident from the source code that there will be more Shadow Pokemon coming, which is extremely exciting news. And something that I always like to see in Pokemon games, it looks like there will also be the inclusion of a ranked battling system as well. And even though I would definitely rank myself a lot higher playing a game like Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's really cool for those Pokemon Go players that they're implementing these staples of the Pokemon world into the game. And onward now we head to Pokemon Masters, where I cannot believe that we are only 5 days out from the official release of this game. There has been so much information coming out lately regarding Sword and Shield and all these other areas of the nerd world that I love so dearly that I didn't really pay attention to the time and the fact that it was getting closer and closer to the release of Masters. And now it's actually finally here. We are only one work week away from the release of this game, and my anticipation could not be higher. I cannot wait to dive in and see what the world of Pasio is all about. Not now to D23 actually. But of course, how could you talk about D23 without also talking about Marvel, where we received so much new information regarding the movies and the new television series coming out for the Disney Plus streaming service. First up, for the movies of the MCU, we got an official release date for Black Panther 2, which is going to be dropped on May 6th of 2022. And the fact that they're adding even more movie release dates to Phase 4 makes me very excited to see what is still yet to come even. Also, in relation to the movies, we got a little bit of a minor update in regards to the lineup of actors that will be playing in the new Eternals movie, which includes the fulfillment of the rumor that had been going around that Kit Harington will be joining the MCU and taking on the role as Dane Whitman, who eventually takes on the mantle of Black Knight in the Marvel Comics. So it definitely will be interesting to see how they use his character going forward in all of the movies and Disney Plus content. And speaking of Disney Plus, we got to see some brand new shows that were unveiled, including Miss Marvel. And not only am I extremely excited because I do love this character a lot in the Marvel world, but also for the fact that Kevin Feige himself mentioned that she would first be appearing in her own series and then in the movies of the MCU. And that's really cool for her character in and of itself, but it also hints to the fact that the Disney Plus series will tie into these movies really complexly, which adds even more anticipation and excitement to me and many other Marvel fans for the fact that we're also going to be getting a Moon Knight Disney Plus series and a She-Hulk Disney Plus series. Moon Knight follows a mercenary named Mark Spector who was left for dead out in the Egyptian desert and takes on some magical superpowers, or possibly doesn't and is just crazy, and that's part of the whole gimmick of his overall character. And of course, She-Hulk is a somewhat female version of the Hulk character, and in the comics is related to him as somewhat of a cousin figure of sorts. So it will be really interesting to see how they play her out in this new iteration in the MCU. And up next from D23, we absolutely must discuss Star Wars. And I'll begin by discussing The Mandalorian, which looks like it's going to be a thrilling, exciting, edge-of-your-seat type of series following the events of the collapse of the Empire and seeing the chaos that spreads all across the galaxy with no centralized power keeping everything in check. Anarchy! It was also unveiled that we'll be getting a brand new spy-like series inspired by Rogue One, starring Cassian and his repurposed Imperial drone. Personally, I think their dynamic on screen was one of the best parts of Rogue One, and I'm extremely excited to see this series when it comes out. And finally, in regards to Star Wars, we have a story that I've been talking about a lot lately, and that is the Obi-Wan Kenobi series starring Ewan McGregor. And here at D23, to the thunderous cheer of fans, they brought Ewan McGregor out to officially announce for the first time that he will be reprising his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And even though it had been rumored for a while and I already pretty much knew from official sources, it literally brought chills down my spine to see him officially be able to say it to the world. And personally, since he is one of my favorite characters across all Star Wars media, I cannot wait to see him back in that role. And as a couple of honorable mentions from D23, I really enjoyed the Lady and the Tramp live action movie or show. I'm not exactly certain from the way they announced it. But overall, it really looked like they were able to encompass the original magic and heartfelt wonder of the first movie. And I'm sure my children are going to be absolutely in love with it. And another movie that looked really interesting and stars people like Anna Kendrick is Noelle, which is a very interesting take on the old Christmas tale of Santa Claus and saving Christmas, where Santa Claus is now just simply too old to do the job of Christmas, so he passes it along to his son, who is just overwhelmed by the responsibility and ditches out to modern society. His sister Noelle then needs to take on the adventures of the modern world to bring him back and save Christmas in time. And although I know all the Christmas tropes have been pretty much played to death, it is cool to see new takes on some of these old classic tales. And finally today, we have a story that honestly I thought I would probably never be talking about in my entire life, which is that we were given the announcement that they are making a Matrix 4. Now, in my own personal life, I absolutely loved these movies. They were a huge part to my upbringing in my childhood. And to see them making a new movie with Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves both officially confirmed to be reprising their roles as Neo and Trinity, I am so excited to see the possibilities of where they could take these characters and the story from where they left off in the last movie. Just the thought of this movie coming out has already made me desperately want to go back and watch all the movies all over again from the beginning. In fact, since this movie won't be coming out for some time, it's probably on my winter to-do list. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the news stories that I found interesting from this past week. Please leave a comment down below what your favorite topic of discussion was today. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, this has been Professor Noki, signing out once again for Noki Talks.